Hello, welcome back to San Herrera. Today we are in episode 16, and there are a number of things I want to do in today's episode. One of the first things I want to do I just want to detail around, and I would like to do some residential growth as well as expand our university. And I want to take care of our residential demand, like I said a second ago, because we have a large demand for it, and because we need workers over here in this area of town. So I think that adding to the residential demand will satisfy this. I think we can start developing over here possibly, and maybe in these areas, and just in more of our areas that we've kind of sort of given the bone structure to, like this area. We could probably develop in here soon. I want to put more thought to this area though, and just around. I think it would also be wise to start developing these areas of town right here. I would like to put a park over here, like a zoo and a national park, and then like a nature reserve and a zoo over here. And then I want to make this into a nice medical district, and I'm going to use all these assets that we have right here. I want to try to use one of every single healthcare asset that we have in the game. And we have this building that I just placed. I wanted to see what it looks like. So we definitely want to place this. This is a very nice looking asset. Probably not going to place it directly in the... I guess we could place it in the inner city, but generally you don't see larger... at least in American cities, you don't see larger shopping centers right in downtown. So one of the other things too, which you're going to see in a second, is we leveled up our campus. I let the simulation run for a little bit, and we actually went down. We didn't gain any attractiveness. We didn't gain any students. We actually lost students, and we didn't get any academic works. Last year we had 1, and then we got 0. So we need to look into our campus. So this year's Toga party almost broke the world record of largest Toga party, with the highest number of participants in history of the campus. The partying spilled to the streets outside the campus area, but luckily there wasn't too much property damage. Okay, last year, this is... Oh, sorry. No, wait. Oh, yeah, so never mind. This was 2 years ago when we unlocked some of our buildings, and this is this year. So we don't actually get any new buildings since we didn't level anything up, but I believe we unlocked all these new buildings. Are these... No, never mind. These aren't new. So in order to grow our campus, I think we need to add some more buildings, as well as probably some more dormitories, because I think we are maxed out on how many students we can have here. No, not even close. Never mind. So as you can see right here with our RCI meter, this is our demand for residential, commercial, and office. Right now we have the highest demand for residential, so we're going to take care of that in this episode. I would also like to, whenever we start to expand and go bigger in this direction, I would like to take a look at our public transit, because I think that's something that is really suffering right now, and that's just kind of typical in American cities. American cities don't really have that good of a healthcare system, which is kind of true in some instances as well. But we don't really have a good bus or public transit system when it comes to options, which is interesting. But we won't get into that. We're just gonna focus on the game and what we have here. And actually, America has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. So we're just going to focus on the game, though, for now. We're still seeing some traffic over here, so I think that's something I want to try to resolve, too, is traffic issues. I think a lot of it just comes down to a lot of our city services being over here. So, and this is the closest exit they're going to have to most of the city over here. So whenever we start to expand the highway up here and bring this one around and build another public works campus, probably in this area somewhere, I think that will drastically help out the traffic flow. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I wanted to add some more of these buildings around. So we have this. I wanted to add some more of these other types of uses around that we haven't used as much. Like I think we need another healthcare clinic probably somewhere. We have a whole bunch of these from when we had the big water hole The big poison in the water hole thing that I created with the putting the recycling center right next to the water tower, that created some issues for a few years in the game, and I didn't notice that till it was too late. So we're going to put a healthcare clinic right along this collector. We only have 2 sick citizens in the entire city, and our heal capacity is 2,420, so we're doing excellent with that. We're going to place some other buildings over here, some other city service buildings. We definitely need some of those, and I completely neglected to place any. So we're going to place one of those. We're going to place one of these as well. We already have, I think we already have one of these close. Closest one's over there. So we don't need one right here because there's one right there. We're going to place a cemetery over here as well. Before we do that though, let's finish with this area. So we're going to put the highway, we're just going to bring the highway through. We're not going to build the whole thing yet. We're just going to bring it up to where we want it to go. So I want it to curve, yeah, I want it to curve up around here. Okay, now we can bring the road up to where we want it to go. And we're going to make it look like the road was designed, the highway was designed around, the road that was already here, because in reality that's what it would have been. The highway would have been here second, and the roads would have already been, most of these roads probably would have already been placed. I can imagine that 90% of these roads would have already been here, so I'm going to develop this area as if that is the case here as well. Even though in the game that we're playing here, it's actually the opposite. And we're kind of almost in a way developing the city around the highway. We're going to give the illusion that it was developed around the roads first, the communities that were here originally. So we're going to bring this down a little more. And we're going to create sort of a frontage road along here. That's fine. Bring this down. Okay, let's have some other city services over here now. So we're gonna place a sauna over here as well. Place one right here. We got this sports hall and gymnasium. This is more of a community thing that I think you'd see inside of a neighborhood, and I think we're missing this sort of thing, so we're going to place one right in here. We're going to use some eminent domain. I can actually move that over a little bit. Do we even have a high school over here? If we do, I think we're going to move it. We don't have one over here, and we're suffering because of it. Or is that just because this area is fairly new? I'm not sure. We do have, our capacity is beyond what, like almost triple what we need it to be. We don't need nearly the amount of high schools that we have, and I think they're kind of spread out in the wrong areas, where like right here we have like 2. We definitely don't need 2 right here. We probably could have put this one over here and then move this one over here, put this one up here. So we might move those in the future. I don't think that's totally realistic, so we're not going to do that right now. But that's just, I think that's something you'd see in real life. I don't think that these would all be so close to each other. I think we could probably move this one over here as well too. I want to put something next to this sports hall gymnasium. So we've also got this community school, which functions like a elementary school. And even on our elementary school, we're almost triple what we need as well. So we're not going to worry about that either. So we're going to go back to healthcare. And we have this community pool, which we're also going to place right here. And we're going to dezone this area. We don't need to have it paused. So we're also, what's this? Yoga garden? Why don't we place that like right here? You know, we can go around and place a few of these assets. Let's go around town and do that. So we're going to place some, we're going to place that right there. We could use another sauna in here. We could place one as part of an Old Town Parker. What is this community pool? We'll place a community pool. That's something I feel like we're kind of missing over here, is these kind of local assets that you'd see in communities like this. Especially since I'm going for a certain feel in this neighborhood especially. I'm trying to make this a sort of more elite part of town where you'd see probably some more rich people. I looked at this the stats on this neighborhood though, and we actually have a lot of seniors here, which is kind of interesting. One more thing I wanted to do as well was we don't need this power line anymore. And we can put some other uses here that will fit this area. We can put some commercial here that will fit here fantastically. Also, I'm not sure why we didn't zone this. It just kind of slipped my mind and passed me, so we're going to zone that. We're going to zone right here along this collector as well. There's no reason why this isn't zoned. I'm going to D-zone this. Alright, that's good. We're also going to zone a little bit over here along this and in here. And one thing I was looking at too was I was able to get this railroad underneath this, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Now, had I known that early on, I probably could have done something with this, but I didn't notice that, so it was too late. So, I mean, I guess I could bring it down here and then maybe run a line across here. I don't think that's very realistic, so I'm not really sure I want to do that. Plus, I already kind of wanted to bring a line around here, so we might just stick with this one. But this one does have potential, and we could potentially use it in the future. So we'll keep an eye on that. So some other assets I wanted to place over here. We have this yoga garden. We can place one of these. Why don't we place that like right there? And then we don't have any parks. We have this medical helicopter depot. I think we're going to place this. Not sure where. We don't have a ton of room. Maybe this is something you'd see more in this sort of area. I wanted to move this. Not sure. What does this do again? I'm trying to remember what this does. Waste transfer facility uses garbage trucks to collect and temporarily store garbage. We're not using this right now, so. I think we'll put this. We might as well just put this over here. Especially if it's not being used, just keep it there until we destroy it or move it somewhere else. So now that we move that there, we can maybe place our... I'm assuming this is a very loud asset. It is, but we're not touching any homes with that, so that's good, at least. We also have this recycling center, which isn't really doing anything being there. We're going to move this over here. I wanted to keep it there to see if that would reduce the amount of traffic we were seeing, because we're going to have local trash collection, but I don't really think that did anything. So we're just going to put that over there with the rest of the public works campus. And I'm not really sure that I actually like this here too much. I mean, I feel like we can move some assets over here to make room for it, and I really want to do that. Actually, I don't want to move this any farther over because we're already seeing some weird things right here with the terrain because of that. So not really sure what other options we have. We could connect this up here. Oops, we didn't use the right road. So I think we're definitely gonna connect those up right there, and we'll move these to. This is a taxi depot. I'm gonna place this right here. Oh, it fits perfectly right there. Fine, that is fine. I love that. And now hopefully we can fit our police helicopter depot over here. We are losing a lot of money. I'm not sure why. Our weekly income was almost $20,000. Now it's only $5,000. So we're going to go place this over here. Perfect. Now I want to look at what's costing us so much money real quick. I wonder if it's our campus. So right now we are spending $3 million, $13 million on transit, 39 on public health care. Huh. 34,000 on education. Interesting. So now we're starting to gain a little bit, I think. I wonder if that was just something from placing all these buildings. No, now we're not. Huh. Interesting. Let's look at our budget. Yeah, everything's good. That's curious. Taxes are fine. Now it's starting to go back up, I think. We're at 7,000. Let's see if that goes up. It's stuck around 7,000, 4,000. So we're gonna see how that goes. I can't imagine that placing these buildings would affect our budget that much over long term. That's interesting why it's doing that. I can't really imagine why it is doing that. It could also be because of our demand for residential. I don't think that would be the problem either, but we're gonna see. So we're gonna start developing over here, and I guess with the close proximity that this would have to the highway, it's probably not gonna be a super high income neighborhood, so we're just gonna, though it's already in a pretty prime location because of its proximity to the university and because of its proximity to this area of town right here with all the city services. So I guess it'll already be pretty good just because of that. And if we put if we put some good services, put some good sound barriers, then it should also make up for that. So we're getting out into the development areas of the city where I think you start to see cul-de-sacs like this and curvy roads out in the outer regions of the city, of the downtown, the main part of the city, which is going to be over here. So I'm going to start doing that sort of right here, I guess, is the first area I've done it, and hopefully I will start doing it in others as well. So I'm going to bring these pipes underneath the roads. And yeah, there we go. And that made them happy for some reason. I don't know why. We're also going to fix our junctions over here because we have some unnecessary traffic lights. There's no reason to have these right now. These are just making traffic worse. We won't worry about this one though for now because actually we'll do these ones because I don't think we're planning to develop on this side of the road since we're going to build the university right here. So I don't think any of these roads are going to continue, at least most of them. So let's make all these into stop signs. Okay, and our budget is our weekly income is back up to 18,000, which is good. I'm not sure why it did that originally. I think it could have been because of all the buildings that we placed. Okay, we have a large demand for workers over here, so now we're going to Do we have schools? We don't really need schools. Our school coverage is through the roof right now. It's almost triple what we need, so we're just going to zone this area right now. We'll get to districting this area in just a second. Oops, didn't want to do that. Just wanted to Z-zone that top layer. So I think we can place commercial along this area as well. So I think we're going to need to fix this trolley junction right here because this is causing traffic, and I think it has the potential to make some really bad backups over here, so we're going to fix this in the future. But right now I think we're going to leave it until traffic gets significantly worse in this area. We're going to speed it up so things get going, and we're going to make a district for this area. So there's also some other things I was noticing with our districts in some areas. Yes, it was over here on Crystal Shores. I don't think Crystal Shores needs to extend this far. I think we can probably cut it off right here and make this an entirely separate district, because right here is more of an industrial area. You've got this fish market and fish industry. And then you've got all these city services over here. So this is more of an industrial area, so I don't think there's any reason to have this in a residential district. So we're going to make this a separate one. And I'm not really sure what we're going to call this. Maybe we're just going to call it the fishing industry, the Crystal Fishing Industry. Crystal Bay Fish... Crystal Bay. We already have Crystal Bay Industrial Park, so maybe we'll just have this Crystal Bay Industry. What's the word? I'm thinking of the word. Port? This isn't really a port, though. Alright, so I think we're just going to leave the name for now because... So we'll do Crystal Bay Fishing Bay, I guess. We'll keep that for now. We might change that in the future, but we don't need to have this off anymore. I'm not sure why that was off. Oh yeah, it's because we need paper. I'm going to zone some more of this. And we're going to zone commercial along this road as well. Might as well do it right here since we already have this shelter right here. The evacuation shelter. One thing I also wanted to do for the evacuation shelter is draw routes, because apparently you need to make little bus routes so that way they can pick people up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make little evacuation routes in case something really bad happens and we need to evacuate the entire city. These will be able to go and pick people up. So this will only function unless if there are people, if there's actually a natural disaster. Otherwise, this isn't going to this isn't going to get used. So this isn't going to decrease traffic. Just at any point. And if there's a natural disaster and all our roads and everything's destroyed, then we're not going to have to worry about traffic because, you know, I don't think people are going to be worried about driving to work whenever work doesn't exist or whenever everybody's dying. So we're going to draw a route for this area as well. We have this old subway station. I'm not sure why it's still here, or is that just a piece of track? Oh wait, no, it is a station. So I think that was, yeah. We might get rid of that because now we have this one right here. We don't really need this one anymore. So we might get rid of that in the future. As for the evacuation line, we're going to have it go to the bay. So I guess we don't really need to be too organized with the way this works. It doesn't need to be fancy like a bus line. It just needs to function. So we're going to get this going to as many places as possible. So we're going to also bring it through the industrial area. Then we're going to bring it down this way. Connect it up here. And we got one more over here. We should probably place some more shelters. Oops. So as for this area already has really good coverage. I think we're just going to make this one cover this side of town. So we'll go over to Woodland Heights. We're actually going to make this go separate. Yeah, we're going to go on this side and then no, we forgot to go on this side of the road. So let's come over here now. Complete the line. Okay, that should function now. So I can imagine that back when the city was first built and whenever everything was being constructed, this probably would have been connected. You have the Crystal Shores Industrial Park and then the Crystal Bay Fishing Bay. Crystal Shore. Sorry, I need to change that. So these probably would have been the same. This probably would have been connected. There probably would have been more industry in this area, but then the highway would have been put through here, and it would have kind of separated it a little more. We have so much traffic over here. It's gridlock at this point. And a lot of it's coming through this area, which I don't like. So I think we're going to put a heavy traffic ban right here. So we're going to separate this from the road because we don't want to stop traffic from going on this main road. And that's something you have to remember when doing a heavy traffic ban, is you have to remember that you don't want the ban to apply to these roads. So you have to get the roads out of it. Otherwise, you're basically going to destroy. If the traffic can't get on the main roads, then you're going to destroy pretty much everything. The The only reason we're doing this is because we don't want traffic on these local roads inside of this neighborhood, so we're going to ban heavy traffic. I didn't think heavy traffic was going to go here, but apparently I was wrong. Hopefully that will decrease the amount of traffic we're seeing right here, and we'll funnel it onto here instead. And some more of the other buildings I wanted to place. We have, I think that was actually all of those ones. We wanted to place another crematory somewhere. Place one over here. I will place it right here. Fits perfectly. As for other, we'll place a fire station over here because the last thing we want is this area burning down because we didn't have enough coverage. We're also going to place one over here. We'll also get a police station over here before we forget. Probably should get some stations over here as well as some of these towers. We're going to place that right there. Natural disasters. I don't think, yeah, we're actually, we probably could have some more shelters. This area has no coverage at all. And truthfully, unless we have like a tornado or a, what's the word? Meteor strike, I don't think we're actually going to need to worry about this area, because if a tsunami comes up, I don't think it's going to hit this area. I don't think it's going to get this far into town. But you never know. There was a YouTuber that goes by the City Planner Plays had a city called Verde Beach, and you'd be surprised at what got destroyed. I mean, it was mainly on the shore, but that's pretty much where his entire city was, is along like the main shore of the map. So I think like he lost about 30,000 people, and he had about 130K, I believe. So no, he lost about 50K because he was down at like 80 at one point. So just gonna learn from his mistakes, and we're going to make sure we're good when it comes to our disaster response unit. Probably could place a bigger one right here. No, we can't. So is our police coverage in this area? Yeah, it's good. As for public transit, I know we're going to be not very good. Okay, so other buildings too. I believe there was other ones. So we have some unique factories. Are these are the unique factories, and we need water under here real quick. Okay, so we still have a very large residential demand, so we're going to need to take care of that more. So I wanted to add to our industrial complex over here some more of these unique factories that we have. So some of these include like a furniture factory, which we need. I can't look. So we need, I believe we need, I forget what the word is. We need, the jewel I believe represents special commercial goods, and then the triangle, I'm not sure what the triangle represents. No, so I see now. So we need paper and wood, and those make special commercial products. That's what the jewel represents. And we already have both of those things, so we could actually place this. And we're going to. As for where, we could fit it right here. So let's move this warehouse a little bit to the, oh, never mind, we can't. We can put it right here, actually. And then we will put the furniture factory right here. And we're actually going to move this so that way we don't have issues with it, because otherwise, because this is a one-way road right here, I believe. No, I guess it's not. It should be, though, because we're going to make that a one-way road, because you have this highway connection right here. So we're going to make that a one-way road because you have this exit right here. These cars are doing some weird things. That was weird. So if our traffic was only going a certain way, and we put a warehouse on it, the trucks are only going to be able to enter through that way. They won't be able to go backwards. If we had it over here, and say the one-way road was going this way instead of going towards the industrial complex, if it was going towards the highway, then the trucks would need to, if they wanted to get products from this warehouse and bring them back over here, they would need to get back on the highway. And since there's no turning lane right here, if it was going this way, they would need to go all the way around to potentially here and turn around just to get back into the industrial complex. So we're going to move the warehouse over. This is suffering from a lack of products, materials rather. So we probably need more of these fields. We also still have a very large demand for residential, so we're going to get some placed pretty soon. We have, yeah, there we, no, oops, that was a mistake. So as for commercial, I think we're going to build a road. We're going to continue this one. We're going to look at our terrain. Real quick right there. So I actually want this to go straight, and then once it gets closer to the mountain, we're going to turn. So we're going to go straight for a while. We're probably going to rebuild this later just to make the terrain fit a little bit better. We're going to grade some of these areas, but for now I want to at least know where I'm going to have the roads. Perfect. So I would like to have a big park in here, like I already said. We'll have the city main park in here. And then up on this mountain, I want to have some like really exclusive private properties that are worth billions, possibly millions of dollars. So we're seeing demand for residential everywhere now. So one thing I also want to remember is we're going to bring the highway around this little this it's not really much of a mountain, it's more of a hill. So don't want to get the two mixed up. So right here is where we're going to start making the more curvy suburbs. Where it comes to the more curvy roads, I guess you might say. Oops, no, we didn't want to do that. So even in these areas, you still have some sort of grid sometimes. Like you'll have something like this, and then possibly something. Actually, no. This, if it was a highway like this, it'd probably curve with the highway, and then you'd have a cul-de-sac right here. We're going to bring this up to right there. We're going to bring this straight across. And then we'll put some more cul-de-sacs in here. You know, I'm gonna redo that. I want this to look more, even though the road development in this kind of area is kind of whack, it still is very neat. It still looks kind of, it's almost satisfying to look at. It looks like they fit it together very perfectly. So we're going to, like, all the roads are the same distance away from each other, so we're going to try to emulate that here if we can, as best as we can. So we're also going to probably put a little cul-de-sac up here. Yep. And we might as well just connect this up actually. And then we'll have a this is probably one of the more challenging suburb designs that comes it's probably one of the more challenging suburb designs to emulate in this game because of how neat they are, how kind of unique they are to certain areas. Certain areas do them differently than others. Like there's a difference between the way they are in, say, you know, Los Angeles and Chicago, it's just a little bit different. And newer development patterns in Los Angeles and more cities in California. The way it works is very, very close with the terrain. And then in other areas, it's not so much. It's more just kind of plow through the hills and make roads. Like especially in the older development patterns in San Francisco, the roads they did not respect the topography at all. And the result is kind of what we have over here. You just have these roads that kind of go like almost straight down. Well, not quite straight down, but they're very steep. So I think this is actually turning out kind of nice. So we're going to keep going with this one right here. Bring it up that far. And then to about here. We don't want to get too close to the interchange because we don't want to give people noise pollution. I'm not sure why there's heavy traffic using this area, or just traffic passing through. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there's a lot of things that the AI does in this game that don't make sense at all, so I guess it does make sense. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is probably how it would look in real life. Which is what I'm going for. So hopefully this will satisfy much of the demand we're seeing for the residential zone. So one of the challenging things about this is going to be getting pipes under here because the roads are... Well, what's going on? That was weird. Because you can't just just place a straight pipe underneath and then have it snap to wherever you need it to. This is actually, it's a little bit harder to place pipes underneath curvy roads. So we're gonna fill these in here. Only put them where they're necessary. We don't need to put extra pipes for no reason. Like this probably isn't necessary, but we need to. I didn't make it long enough, so we're gonna make it a little bit longer. We're gonna start right here, and we'll connect this one up right here. And actually, maybe this one was necessary, so we can get water over here. There we go. Now over here as well. So I don't think we're actually gonna get to placing any buildings for our university in this episode because of all the other things we fixed. I'm not sure how much more time we have here. Gotta call it an episode sooner or later though, and generally whenever I say we're gonna call it an episode soon, I end up recording for another half hour, so just know if I say that, I'm probably gonna still record for another half hour. Alright, bring one more pipe up here. There we go. Now I'm going to zone most of this with residential, or if not all of it. I'm going to put some commercial in here. We don't need it right here though. I didn't want to place it there. Didn't want to zone this right here because that would be some serious noise pollution. Right here we want to have some zoning as well. There's no reason to not zone right here. So I took care of a lot of things I wanted to do in this episode. I've been wanting to do some of these things for a long time, and I finally got around to being able to do them. And our weekly income is down to 5,000 again. We have lost over 1,000 people for some reason. Don't know why. So with all this residential development, we're going to see a lot of traffic in this area because of all the people that are going to be moving in. So we'll expect some backups probably along these two exits right here for just a little bit. And maybe we'll see it over here like we always end up seeing. So maybe I was too soon on these. I feel like I needed to do some more, what do you call it? Transitioning. We'll see. If I need to, it'll never hurt to redevelop this area and redo the road structure a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. So we also want to fix our junctions so that way whenever the traffic comes through here, we're not going to have some serious issues. These probably are not justified right now with the amount of traffic we're seeing over here. Did we fix these junctions yet? No, we didn't. And we need to get water over here too. We're also having some issues with our, or not issues, but we're about to start having issues with our sewage treatment, so that's something we want to keep in mind. Okay, now that's out of the way. I want to start developing this area, or preparing this area for development, so we're going to bring this road out straight. Turn on our snapping. So go out, what is this, 400? I believe this is 400. 400. That's not straight. So we're going to go out 400 again. That's not very straight either, so we're going to see if we can retry that. Might not be perfect, but oh, there we go. And that's got to be more than 400. Yeah. You know, I generally don't have this much success when it comes to unmodded roads like this. Generally, the roads like to snap to nodes that you don't want them to snap to. And what a node is basically this. So we have this circle right here. When you place a road, like right here, watch. So there's a node right here and there's a node right here. So whenever I open up these road menus, you can kind of see where the nodes are. And sometimes they can be very frustrating if you're not using mods. But right now I'm having a lot of success with them. I don't usually have this much success with nodes. So we're also going to continue this road for now. And truthfully, we could probably continue the highway as well. This probably wouldn't be a bad idea. There's no reason to not do it. So let's just... Could also create a second highway interchange over here for this area. So how far is this? 3,000... What was it? 3,720. Not sure if we can go up that high right here. We can. Perfect. That's the same distance that we need it to be. So I'm going to move. Oops. Gonna move this over a little bit. This might be too short to be able to connect it up. Ooh, it isn't. Perfect. So we're going to see if we can get the highway over this. Hopefully this will work. It should, but you never know with how this game works. Perfect. I want to make sure we're not going down. We are going down, so let's fix that. No, not that much. So that little thing that I press controls how much, basically how much force it applies whenever you press the up or down button. It's already occupied. There we go. Switch this around. And it went down, so we need to fix that. So basically when I press this, it changes the, let's see if it says elevation step. So if we have it on all the way right here, then whenever we press this, it's going to be, the elevation step is going to be greater whenever we press page up or page down. And when we have it low, it's going to be not so much. So it kind of decreases and increases depending on which one you have. Is it going down this time? Nope. Let's get this turned around. Right there. And so we don't have backup issues this time. I think I'm going to create the entrance to the entrance a little back here, and we're going to use 2-lane road again. Or sorry, 2-lane. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Is that not high enough yet? I don't think it is. So let's, should probably bring it up a little bit higher. Okay, and then okay, so hopefully this will start functioning now. Let's make sure these are all pointing in the right direction. Yes. So this will also hopefully help decrease traffic that we are seeing in this area. We can also get roads back here. No. See, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes it wants to snap to a node that you don't want. We don't want to create any intersection. Actually, this is probably fine. I don't want to create either of these ones though, because then it's going to add problems to this one. Or we could do this if it'll let us. It does. And I kind of think that's cool. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to upgrade these and make this a collector couplet. Oops. Basically what a collector couplet is it's like a collector. So this is a collector right here. You have 2 lanes going in each direction. And that's basically what this is, except they're split up. So you got 2 separate roads. It's basically split up into 2 separate roads. And we lost 2 students again. So we need to do something about that. We won't worry about that in this episode. We have a lot of work to do still that I would like to get done. So we're going to zone commercial along this main collector right here, except for right here. We don't want to create sound pollution. And then we're going to zone office right here, and right here as well. just going to zone this entire area. So since it's going to be a collector couplet, we might as well put some uses over here. So we're going to put some office along the main part of it, and then on the inside we're going to put some commercial. We're going to put some more residential along this side right here. And we want to get pipes under here first before we get too ahead of ourselves. So let's get these pipes going this way. Get our snapping off so we can hopefully get under here a little bit better without having it snap to a node. And then we bring one more over here, and we need power. So we could use some parks to fix that, and we will definitely use parks to fix that. We have this small playground, which we are going to put right here. That should hopefully connect up. Yep, there we go. Now we are connected up. So now we can fill in this chunk of land here as well. And as for what we're going to put there, I'm not really sure. But I think we could also start, since we have our roads where we want them, the collectors. I think we can also probably start with this healthcare complex that we're going to make. The healthcare district. So I'm not really sure exactly how common healthcare districts are. I know there's one in Dallas. Between, I believe, Dallas. No, it's like north of Dallas, I believe, near Love Field. Love Airport. Love Field Airport. Okay, so we've done a lot in this episode. There was a few more things I wanted to get to. Not sure if we will be able to. That's usually always, though. We don't usually get to everything I want to get to. Just because nature is, I guess reality is you don't always... You picture, you think you can do more with the time that you have. And then in reality, that's not the case. So... we need our freeform tool for this. Make sure that has a, yep, it's connected up over here as well and right there. So one more thing we're going to do right here is we're going to create a bypass. So I guess this really doesn't serve a purpose. It just kind of lets trains go which way they want, I guess. And if there's cargo that needs to come from this part of town to over here, I guess it can more easily and efficiently now. So I guess that's a plus. And we are starting to see some backups over here, which is fine. I mean, even in a real city, you're still going to see backups in certain areas. Let's look over here. Is this area doing good? Yeah, this area is doing relatively good. Better than it's usually doing. Still having a lot of traffic over here, but it's nothing too bad. Definitely not compared to what we've seen over here in the past. I think we'll start preparing this area for development too by building a road along this. Sort of like a frontage road. After the highway would have been put here, I can imagine that they would have built a frontage road. And then all the other roads would probably connect up into that. So, yeah. Probably also could build a public works campus. That actually might be what I do with this area. That might be what I do. So we're going to start our healthcare campus. We're going to start with, so we're going to move all these other buildings somewhere else for now, and we're going to start with our first, actually we're going to do it over here. So I think we're going to start with the general hospital, and after this we're going to call it an episode after we finish this little chunk. We're going to look if there's anything else that needs to be fixed, and then if there's not, we're going to call it an episode. So what we're going to do through here is we're going to put, where's the general hospital? We have general medical laboratory, general hospital. So we're going to put this right here across from the health clinic. And we could probably move this health clinic in here. I believe this still has, we need to give this place water and electricity. So instead of doing that, we could probably just zone commercial along the collector, and that will provide electricity. It will give the option to allow, it'll connect up, hopefully. It will connect it will allow power to be able to cross. Okay, so we have that finished in here. So what I also want to get I want to decorate this area a little bit. So we're going to put a park in here. We're going to make this look nice. This is a probably very high-end. You got some of the best doctors here probably in the country, or maybe not the country, but just in the area, in the region. So how many tiles is this? I want it to be symmetrical. So we've got 4 on this side and 5 on this side, right? 5, yeah. So there's not a whole lot we can do about that since we're not using mods. So I guess we could just deal with it. It's not too big of a deal, I guess. So we have dirt paths, so we're going to connect these up on both sides. We're going to put some palm trees in here. So actually one issue I have with this map is that there's naturally grown palm trees everywhere. You have forests of palm trees, and at least in the US, palm trees are not native to the region. So like palm trees are not native to the US at all. So if this is in a western setting in the US, you would not see palm trees here. So maybe we can come up with some sort of backstory to explain that. Like maybe somebody released a whole bunch of I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just something we got to deal with that isn't very realistic. I mean, most of the game isn't realistic, so I guess it's just icing on the cake. So we're also going to put some small beaches in here. Can't put them in the park, sadly. We're also going to continue the road back here. We don't need a one-way road, though. We can use one of these other ones. We're going to decorate the hospital a little bit as well. The property, I guess. Put some palm trees around. We're going to put some trees in here as well. Some of these beech trees. B-E-E-C-H, not B-E-A-C-H, so don't get confused. We're not actually at the beach here. Technically, we're more inland. The beach isn't actually till like over in this area. which is sort of something that would actually bother me about this. If I wasn't using mods, like if I wasn't planning to use 81 tiles, I believe it's actually impossible to build over here. So you literally have this tropical map, and you wouldn't even be able to use any beachfront property unless you wanted to grade an entire chunk of this coast. But that's just the way the game works, I guess. Palm trees along the back as well, so you can look out your window and see a whole bunch of coconuts, I guess. Also block some of the noise pollution from some other uses you'd see in here probably, because if you're sick, you're not doing very well. I can't imagine that you're going to want to hear tons of ambulances and crematoriums, if those even make noise. I'm not too sure about those, but just other uses. I can't imagine you're going to want to be too. I can't imagine you're going to be very excited to hear lots of noise when you're not feeling that well. Especially if we're going to put a public works campus over here, that's going to produce a lot of noise. Okay, I think that's about it. I think that's about it for this episode. We've done a whole lot in this episode. We started this healthcare district, medical district. We started the development of the shore along this part of town, the Crystal Shores. We're going to extend this district over here as well. So yeah, we're going to call it an episode here, I think. There's not much else I think we can really do in this episode. We've already done a lot. Please make sure you subscribe for more of San Herrera. Stay tuned for more of San Herrera, and subscribe for more of City Skylines content. Also wanted to mention a few announcements real quick, just to give some updates, I guess. So pretty soon, I would like to start streaming Minecraft. Especially with the new Caves and Cliffs update, I have an SMP that I do with some friends locally, and I would like to be recording that. We've had the world for a little over a year now, and I think that it has a lot of potential. So hopefully soon I can make it into a realm, so it would be a little more SMP-ish, I guess. Otherwise, it's not really much of an SMP if it's not even really a server. So I'd also like to get it on this PC, because right now I just play on Switch, which isn't that great for Minecraft, and it doesn't run very well. So hopefully I'll get it on PC soon, so I can start streaming it. I don't think this power line's necessary either, is it? No. Okay, well, we've done a lot in this episode. We've done some overall fixes. We've developed these areas. We did sort of the newish sort of suburb design of the 1930s, probably through present. The sort of development probably would have started in the 1930s or 40s, around the same time that these highways would have been built. So, or at least started, because some of these highways probably wouldn't have been around until like the 60s or 70s, and then some of the other ones would have been around much earlier than that. So, yeah. So thank you for joining me in this episode. We did a lot. I already showed you guys what we did. In the next episode, we probably need to address the campus, and we're going to probably start developing our big park that we have, as well as this medical district. We'll also probably do a little more detailing and developing some more of these other areas, possibly split that into 2 episodes, because that's a lot of work. But I'll see you guys in the next one, and N.J.H is